Well, ladies and gentlemen, the energy that Donald Trump had at his rally last night reminded a lot of people of 2016, and there were thousands on the outside. It was reported that they got 60,000 requests to go to this rally in an arena. The arena seats 16K, but with the floor seating, they got it up to 19K. And there are just loads of people. There were people camping out at 7 a.m. Trump, I thought, had an amazing rally. The end of it was awesome when he was talking about how he was going to make everything, blank again, like safe again, happy again, and then closing it with great again. And that's really how he should close his rallies, at least his big rallies. You don't want to do it every time. It's like a signature. Possibly also he should do, well, there's not going to be another debate, but that would have been a good closer at a debate where he says, make America, and then insert a bunch of words. And then at the last one, great again. That was really, and also stayed on topic. People always say he rambles. I thought it was a really, really good rally, and a lot of people liked it. It was in New York. This is like the second time where Trump, remember New Jersey back in the spring, he got like 100K. And he got 60K for this, and it seemed like he was hinting at possibly having a rally at a massive stadium. I said he should have it at Bristol Motor Speedway, which would be 200,000. It'd be the biggest rally in U.S. political history. Trust me, it would be the craziest movement. But the security is an issue with the assassination attempts and everything like that, so we don't know if he's going to do it. But like, look at this. For a random rally, you've got all these people. No wonder he believes he could win New York. Yeah, well, I think he was helping with some other races there. Him winning New York seems very far-fetched at this point. Maybe against Biden. I just don't think a partisan country can shift that far. He might lose. Maybe he can lose New York by under 10, but there was some crazy, crazy energy when it comes to that. We also did get, you can see just more Trump rally. I thought the media said there was nothing but white supremacists. Yeah, we've seen a lot of diversity at the Trump rallies. For sure. Look at this comparison. New York Times, Siena, September of 2020 versus September of 2024. They had Biden up by 8. So that's a 4-point polling miss. Remember, Biden won the popular vote by 4.5. That's a 3.5 miss. And now they've got Trump tied with Harris. So if Trump overperforms again, even if it's not by 3.5, it could be 1.5. Trump wins easily. Even if Trump doesn't overperform this poll at all and it stays relatively even in terms of the popular vote, Trump wins easily. Even if Trump underperforms this poll by 1.5 points, Trump wins easily. If it's tied like this in a New York Times poll, these are amazing, amazing numbers for Trump. Everyone agrees. Everyone admits. You're talking about New York Times, which had a bias of 3.5 for the Democrats. When you compare their September of 2020 poll to the final result, and you compare what's going on today, Trump outperforming his 2020 numbers by 8 points nationally. These are amazing numbers for Trump, and it's just going to be boosted with all the rallies Trump's having. North Carolina's coming up, and Harris and Walz really not doing anything. And it did come out. You can see this. Where is this? Harris, this is Axios. Harris Walz ticket is on pace to do the fewest interviews and press conferences than any other major party's presidential pairing in modern U.S. history. And so, I think I'm shocked. There's got to be like some record to where they're at like 1, and then the next closest lowest is probably at like 35. This is pathetic. Pathetic. They won't do interviews. They won't. They can't even do rallies. I guess Walz has been doing a few rallies, but none of them get any coverage. So I haven't really seen Harris do a big rally recently. And when they do the rallies, it's very hard for them. Logistically, it's a nightmare because of the buses that they have to rent out. A lot of their rallies aren't able to happen because they can't get the buses. Normally, they're on like kids' field trip. I heard yesterday they were going to have a rally, but like the nursing home rented out all the buses. They were going to have a rally in North Carolina, and they were like, oh, we can't have it, I guess. Because she can't draw a crowd. They have to bus people in from other states, and then she tries to make fun of Trump's crowds. It's amazing. It's ridiculous. But that's what they have to do. And then they say, oh, the buses are there for security. That's how desperate they are. It's unbelievable when it comes to that. But yeah, so this was an amazing, amazing event that Trump had. You can see this. Liberals are fearing that New York could go red. Well, I don't know about that one. New York going red would be, it would require something to where like Biden, like when Biden was facing Trump, and then maybe Trump could really get it close. I know there were a few polls, Biden versus Trump. that had Trump down by only 9. That was back in the spring. The recent stuff, I think, has had Trump down by like 14 against Kamala, but it will be closer. And the thing with New York that you have to understand, New York will help Trump with the popular vote 100%. So Trump, he's been losing the popular vote. We know this. When you've got a swing in New York, he's probably not going to win it, but it's going to help him with the popular vote. Not the popular vote matters all that much. It really doesn't. But it is a situation where you would like to get that just as bragging rights. Republicans need to win it at some point, you would hope. It is harder we see what happened with the SAVE Act where they don't pass it with all the craziness with the illegal voting and things like that, and all the people coming in, the amnesty that they're trying to give them to get them, that's like a voter block for them, giving amnesty to 10 million people. At this point, it's like 15 to 20 million, apparently, the illegals. That's the overall number. And Trump also announced that he's going to Springfield, Ohio, as well as Aurora, Colorado, to do rallies possibly within the next few weeks. And so this will be interesting. Maybe I'll go to the Springfield rally. That would be something to vlog, that wouldn't it? But listen, he's had some great rallies. I know he's going to Butler, Pennsylvania. That might be the last rally or one of the last rallies. But to get 60,000 people in New York, I mean, when you go to these bigger population areas, it's just like Trump could get 100K, he can get 150, he can get 200K. Harris cannot even get 10K in New Hampshire. They have to bus him in from Massachusetts. This is a blowout. This is not even close. And all of the internal numbers support it. The approval rating, the voter registration, the country is going more to the right. And Trump had one of his vintage rallies last night. We were waiting for it. We were waiting for the energy. And he had a very, very nice rally in New York. That, I don't think he's going to win New York. There's some Republicans are like, he's going to win New York. It's very tough, to swing that much. It would have to be someone like Biden, who would be extremely unlikable and basically a corpse, and then maybe the Republican could take it. But with Harris and their war machine, it's very unlikely that's going to happen. But I mean, then again, you do have Harris and Waltz basically afraid of doing interviews, and that's their strategy. I mean, listen, I thought it was a joke at first when they were like, Kamala Harris, your strategy is going to not release, don't release any of your campaign promises. Just sit back and don't do anything, and then we'll tell everyone after we win what we're going to do. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But no, that's their strategy, because they think the mainstream media can help them, and the mainstream media is going to push them over the finish line. They don't have to do anything. They've done the fewest. This is a historic record, which, by the way, is even more crazy when you factor in Kamala Harris did not win the primary. She did not campaign. So at least you could say if someone does sparse interviews, they had the primary process, they had to debate, they had to do interviews during that, they had to win over their own party's voters. Harris did none of that. And on top of it, she still has done the fewest interviews out of anyone. I mean, this is next level pathetic. And then people still think independents are going to vote for this, and then they're going to scream the country's racist when Trump wins. And it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful sight to see them cry and call our country racist, just like they did in 2016 when Trump won. And oh my God, maybe she should do more than one interview and she might win. Yeah, when you do one interview, you're not going to get rewarded by the American people. You do the fewest amount of interviews we've seen, and you didn't even get elected. You will not be rewarded by the American people. You will lose, especially to someone like Donald Trump, who draws. I mean, this is a liberal state, and there is 60,000 people that want to go to this rally at least. And speaking of New York, this poll just got released. You can see New York, Siena Research, Kamala Harris up by 13 over Trump, which is a crazy shift. And this is kind of what I expected when it came to a New York poll. Trump's not going to win it, but Biden won the state by 23 points in 2020. And by the way, that pollster, I think their final poll had Biden up by 32. So in essence, that pollster had Biden up by 32. He won it by 23, so he underperformed by 9 points. I'm not saying Trump's going to underperform by 9 points. If he's down by 13, then he'd only lose by 4. But you could see New York possibly within 10. That could potentially be a shift. I don't know if New York will ever shift far enough to make it a battleground, but you get it down to 13, down to 12. Then, we see what the liberals have been trying to do with Texas, where they get it down to 10, then they get it down to 8, then they get it down to 6. They're trying to shift it. Can Republicans do something similar to New York, or at least maybe get it under 10 or around there, and performing 10 points better in New York. I mean, that is going to be very well for Trump in terms of the popular vote, and also the smaller races as well, which is really the reason Trump was there, possibly getting some Republicans in seats. We know what happened in New York in 2022. All of the surrounding areas of the Bronx, they shifted far to the right. It was a huge surprise to people. And so these numbers, Trump being down 13, doesn't surprise me. I know there were polls that had Trump only down by 9 to Biden, but against Harris, with all the movement, with her approval rating going sky high, the fact that it's 13, it's not shocking, but it still is really good in comparison to where this pollster had Trump versus Biden in their final poll, with Biden plus 32. He wins by 23. Now the pollster only has Trump down by 13. So these are very good numbers. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.